Hey, you're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. We are sponsored by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia. Go down and see Jeremy and the gang. All great people, great food, great drinks, just a great atmosphere. Love to be there. When this pandemic's over, there's going to be one hell of a party at Joe's. Go on over to their Facebook page, Joe's Underground. They've got a new t-shirt out. Awesome shirt. Got one on the way. Today, my host is Rick Soetebier. Rick is a relationship coach. He's able to kind of help you to work out things in your relationships. He can kind of help you with just about anything with one. He's a great guy, very, very knowledgeable guy, very helpful guy. So let's go ahead and get this thing started, okay? How you doing this morning, Rick?
I'm doing well, Brad. How about you?
Oh, any better? I'd be twins, man.
That's my line.
I'm older, it's mine.
Yes, sir.
I'm old and cranky. I'm claiming it. Oh, man. Yeah. I could have said I'm hanging in here like a hubcap in the fast lane.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So now, how you been through this pandemic and the lockdowns and everything? Are you staying safe?
Oh, well, that's a matter of perspective. In my opinion, yeah. But my life hasn't really changed all that much. Yeah, I work from home, and I still go to the post office. I still go to Walmart. I still go to Home Depot. You know, all those things. And I'm actually on the road today to northern Michigan, and it's, you know, my travel hasn't changed. I was in Texas the last couple of weekends, and so, you know, I just travel all over. So
yeah, I saw the pictures from Texas. Y'all had a good time down there.
Yeah, we did. It was a good old Texas barbecue.
Oh man, you know the name of this podcast is Smoked Meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm bringing barbecue to Georgia, baby.
There you go. Yeah, and when you get to Kansas City, we'll do some good Kansas City barbecue, and I'll treat you to some real barbecue.
Oh man, you're gonna bring Georgia barbecue up to Kansas City? Well, I won't say Georgia bar. I'm talking about my barbecue.
Okay.
I don't have a specific style. Oh man, but yeah, I know you're a relationship coach. I could have used you when I was young and single, because I was not a successful single man at all.
Well, you know, and that's part of the reason I got into this, is because of number one, I recognized the problems I had made and the poor decision making process I went through. But then, you know, as I was going through my divorce and talking to people, I recognized that all of us make similar poor decisions at one time or another. And I also recognized certain ways of being able to step back from the raging hormones and infatuation of a new relationship, and just make sure it's you're not missing any red flags or ignoring red flags or ignoring problems. And when you do that, when you develop that ability, you can make much better decisions about the people you date and the relationships you get into.
Yeah, because you know, when I was young and dating, it was in high school I didn't date. I mean, I was a school kid and whatever. Mm-hmm. But after I got out of high school, you know, I had the great fortune of being in the linen slacks and silk print shirt crowd.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was so fashionable, and the boat shoes, and the Sebagos. Oh yeah. That was me. The 10 pounds worth of mousse in the hair, and I didn't have a lot of hair to begin with. So, oh yeah, it was.
See, I may even predate you a little bit, because I was walking around with a permanent, you know, with the curly hair and
had one of those.
Yeah.
And mine was natural though. That's the thing.
Oh, good for you. You were the lucky one.
Oh
I
man.
had to pay $60 to have it done.
Yeah, when I had it cut off, the lady that cut my hair was almost crying. She said, "People pay me $70 to put this in their hair." I said, "Well, give this to
Exactly.
them and split it with me."
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And I drove, of all vehicles, you're gonna love this one. This was out of necessity, but it was a cool car, an old Volkswagen Bug, which was fine, but it was Pepto Bismol pink.
there you go. That was
Yeah,
although back in the day, I remember that was the last car you could buy for under $2,000.
I think I paid like $600 for this thing. It was used.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I'm talking, yeah, new.
yeah,
So yeah, the $600, you get it a few years old, and most of them ran forever.
yeah.
And I mean, considering back in that era, it was, they were a great vehicle.
Oh
So
yeah. They go forever on a tank of gas.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But no, I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger and dating and or trying to date and oh man. And it's funny, I had a partner on the ambulance who he was just he the guy could pick up a nun. He
Oh,
probably
geez.
had at one point 15 different women that he was seeing.
Oh my gosh.
And I could verify that and all of them knew about each other. He was just that guy. I mean, he knew how to read people and just he played to whatever he needed to, which that's never really been me. I'm not smart enough to juggle one, let alone two. And
Yeah.
he always told me, he said, "Man, it's going to happen when you're not looking for it," and that's the way it was when I met my wife. Um, I was seeing a woman who I was actually at a wedding reception for a friend of mine, and I would go over to the bar that we were at and hang out with a woman I was seeing. And then in the
Hmm.
reception, there was another one that I had been seeing a little bit. And they introduced me to the woman who would become my wife. And I that night, I broke up with both of them.
Oh my gosh.
I knew. We met May 30th. I proposed July 2nd, and we got married January the 9th.
Oh my gosh.
I just knew, and we've been
You
married 21 years.
Well, and that's one of the things that I try to share with people, that when you find that right one, you just know it's a there's just a connection that develops that is almost undescribable in words.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really explain it. Like I say, I couldn't describe it. I just knew. I
Yeah,
didn't know her from Adam, and the first time I danced with her, it was just, hey, I found her.
yeah, yeah. There's just something about that connection, and you instantly develop an intellectual connection, good communication, um, and when you do that, you can develop a much deeper relationship than most people do.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming you have a pretty decent spiritual and emotional connection, especially after all these years. And obviously, there's got to be some physical attraction or a physical connection.
yeah. I'm just scared
Um,
she's gonna
from
sober up one day and actually see me. I'm screwed then, because I definitely married way, way above my level.
well, that for the most part, that's a good thing for you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But we one thing that we do, and I'm sure this is one thing you tell everybody to do, is we definitely communicate. I don't hide anything from her.
yeah, and that is so critically important, and that's one of the hardest things men have to learn, because we're not, men in general are not communicative creatures, and when we have problems, we tend to internalize those problems. We don't want to burden anyone else. I mean, unless it's a couple of our very closest buddies.
Yeah,
um, but if we're in a relationship, we tend not to share that with our woman because we don't want to burden them. So consequently, we miss out on a lot of communication. And when we don't share these things, they feel left out. They feel like they're not part of our world. So it's so incredibly important to share what's going on in the day, and to sit and listen to her when your wife starts to talk. The best thing you can do is just sit and listen and shut up. Don't try to fix what she's telling you or the problem she's sharing with you. Just listen. And if you're ever unsure, ask. Just ask, do you want me to listen, or do you want me to help you fix this?
Yeah.
And 99 times out of 100, she's going to say, I just want you to listen.
Yeah, she just wants to vent sometimes, just like I do, and that works, because whatever you say is staying right there, and you can vent and complain and.
Exactly, and that brings up another. You said something there that brings up another important point, that there has to be a significant level of trust in your relationship, that things that you say between each other stay between the two of you.
Oh yeah.
That or that they're not going to come back and haunt you. Your words aren't going to come back to beat you up later.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women can do that. You'll say something, and 6 months later they're going to come beat you over the head with it, and that's not healthy either. So especially if it was an argument or something you screwed up on, you need to air those things out at the time and not hold it in and hold it against your partner. Those are can be such toxic conversations. Then when she does that to you, you start turning inward and not wanting to share things because you're afraid of what might come back to you in an adverse way later on.
And also start banking it in case you want to turn that around one day on her, and that's a bad slope to go down.
Exactly. The old saying, "Turnabout is fair play," is not a healthy thing in a relationship. You want to have great communication. You want to be able to talk about anything and everything. And I've recently connected with somebody that we have that depth of communication, and it's just, we've had a couple of really, really deep conversations, and we both have epiphanies about our own lives and learning so much about the other. So it's absolutely fantastic when you can find that. And if you don't have that in your relationship, or if you're dating and you don't have that, to me that's a hurdle for going forward. And I want to try to get as many the hurdles out of the way so that that later on in the relationship or in the marriage, that you have a clear path, that you're not hiding anything. You're not. It's all a gosh, what's the word? I'm having
open book. It's all transparent.
You have to be an open book, and unless you're willing to do that, you're not setting yourself up for an extraordinary relationship.
Yeah. And I feel like because we've communicated so well over the years, we've had our ups and downs, every couple's going to, but as far as big, huge arguments, we've only had two, and the first one was 125% my fault. We had just gotten married, and have you ever just had one of those days where you looked at the person and you said, we're going to argue today? I'm in that mood. I was having one of those days. Now, keep in mind, I married a redhead.
Uh-oh.
And all day long, man, I was just trying to pick little fights, just all day, nothing. And we laid down that night, and I finally just turned over. I said, I can't even get a good fight out of you. And I heard something go, boing, boing. And that was her horns popping up out of that red hair. By the time that was over, I was wrong about everything I had ever said, what I was saying now, and everything I would ever say. I apologize, my dear. Please do not kill me. And our second argument, it was a valid thing. We both had our points, and she actually told me that I was right. And
wow.
That scared me worse because I'm not used to that. I'm used to okay. But I mean, that's one thing. If she's wrong, then she'll let me know, and if I'm wrong, she'll let me know, and it works out. I love her.
Well, and that's one of the things that I try to teach, that you have to have so much in common, and that's why one of the things that I try to share with people is that the more things you can figure out before you get into a long-term relationship or a marriage, the more things you can have lined up, the more things you have in common. You take a lot of the roadblocks or the future hurdles out of your way, so that when life does happen, because life is going to throw some crap at you.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's going to get sick. Somebody's going to lose a job. Somebody's going to lose a family member. And all these things, and so many more. All these things pile up and build up stress and can put huge demands on the relationship. And when that happens, if you've got extraordinary communication and you've developed, you're basically with your soulmate. You have an intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and physical connection. You speak similar love languages, and then you have the chemistry. It makes getting past those times so much easier. And I'm not here to tell you that everything's going to be rainbows, unicorns, and butterflies. Because like I said, life happens.
Yeah.
And when you have that partner that is there and that enhances you, and you enhance them, you can be almost invincible as a couple. And it is truly an incredible feeling.
Yeah, I don't know if Steve had told you this about me or not. Almost 5 years ago, I had 2 strokes.
Oh my!
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the first one I didn't know about. The second one, I was actually working on the ambulance when I had it, and it took me off of the ambulance for a long time, and through the whole thing, I mean, by the time I got to the hospital, she was there 10 minutes later, and we lived 30 miles away.
Wow.
And she stayed the whole time I was there. I was lucky it didn't get me physically. It jacked up my head. It gave me a bad stutter and gave me a lot of different tics that come and go. And basically for about 4 months, all I could really do was just sit at home. Physically I could do anything, but just mentally I couldn't. And a lot of people would have gotten so tired of that and just left and said, "I'm done. I'm not dealing with this."
Yeah.
And she has stuck with me through this thing, the whole way. And now I'm back on an ambulance, and I'm me again. And that's a wonderful thing, when the stutter comes back occasionally, crying comes back, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
She don't care. She's fine with it. She works with me, and we get through it. And because of the example we're setting, our kids are the same way. My oldest daughter had a sleepover after the stutter left me the first time, and she's a teenager. Teenagers, you know how they are. They're good kids, but they're teenagers.
Yeah.
And I was, we were in the living room, and the stutter started, and I just kind of walked out, and I went into my room, and she came in there and said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing. I'm just going to stay in here. I don't want to embarrass you. This thing started again." She said, "You're my dad. If they don't like it, they can go home." And that it hit me so hard. I mean, a 16-year-old just to bust out with that.
Wow.
I feel like that's because of the example that me and her mom have set for her. Both of my daughters are that way.
Absolutely.
One of them told me one time, my youngest one, I told her, I said, "I wish that I was a normal dad still." And she said, we don't want normal, we want you. I'm like, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
So, it's all bleeding over into our kids, and it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and that's fun to watch as your kids grow up and see the example that you set, and you start seeing what you've taught them and how you've raised them to start showing itself as they grow into young adulthood, and that is awesome to watch.
Yeah.
And it's always fun when my daughter was getting to that phase. It's like, holy moly, she listened.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy but they're still their own people. We've had my daughter home from college during this pandemic thing, and my youngest daughter, of course, is home because schools are closed, and they're killing me. Yesterday, well, actually, the night before last, I got a text about 1 a.m. from my youngest daughter, and that kind of startled me because I was at work, and I'm like, she never calls me this late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they wanted to know if they could order season 3 of Mama June Not Too Hot on Amazon because it was $20. So I called her. I said, "What?" She said, "Well, they've got seasons 1 through 4, but they don't have season 3 on there. You have to buy it, and that's where all the good stuff happens." I'm really about to pay for Honey Boo Boo.
Oh, Lord,
they're killing me. They're killing me. And the bad part is, we actually live probably about 5 miles from them. And that's...
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're living it.
Oh, man. Oh, they're killing me, though. But if that's what they want to spend money on instead of going out and drinking, doing drugs and all this stuff, and having deadbeat boyfriends who say, "Look, give me $20. Hey, I'll buy Honey Boo Boo all day long.
Yeah. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man. But yeah, relationships are definitely fun. I went totally blank just then. I do that once in a while. But I told you that this thing can kind of steer itself in all kind of strange directions.
Yeah.
And I've actually got a question I'm starting to ask now. I've actually copied this from Robert Wall. Remember the show Arliss on HBO?
Yeah, no, I don't watch TV, so I don't know it. So,
but he's a wonderful character actor. He was in Bull Durham. He was in Cobb. A lot of different things. And I interviewed him the other day, and one question he asked me was, "What would your death row meal be?" And
wow!
I'm going to start asking people that just because I've never thought of it before, and that just tickled me. But I'm giving him the credit for that question because, man.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I would probably say a hamburger and some of my potato salad. It's something I don't make that often. It's a warm German type potato salad with eggs and bacon and
bacon.
So it's I would say probably that would be my meal of choice. The burger from the grill.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah. I understand. It's been so long since I've actually put a burger on the actual grill. But I bought one of the Blackstones. Have you used one of those, the Blackstone griddles?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, you got to get one. They're awesome. It's a 3-foot long flat top, is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it is so great. I barely cook inside the house anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they're not even a sponsor, so hey, they get a free shout out. If you're listening, Blackstone, I could use some accessories.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, I love cooking. I love doing it. My death row meal changes from day to day. One day it can be brisket. The next day, it could be some good lasagna, things like that. So
yeah.
I'm wishy-washy. It changes. But
Yeah,
on stage, when I do comedy, I mentioned being on death row, and told them, I said, for my last meal, and I actually got this off Facebook because it just tickled me. Said, I want my last meal to be a Popeye's biscuit with no drink. I'm not giving the state the satisfaction of killing me. I'll just choke to death on my own biscuit.
there you go.
Yeah, Popeyes will never be a sponsor, I guarantee.
Yeah. Shoot.
But yeah, so what do you like to do when you're not relationship coaching?
Well, I have a few things I like to do. I'm actually on my way up to northern Michigan right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have some property up there, but I also have a sailboat that I sail on Lake Superior. And one of the things I'll be doing either later this weekend or at least by next weekend is uncovering it and start getting ready for the sailing season this year.
Mm-hmm.
And in the winter, I do some snow skiing and I do some bicycling. I've got my bicycle in the back on the back of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get up north, I'll get that out and start doing some riding up there. They've got some really nice trails where I stay up there, and so it's just those types of things, stuff that I can do outdoors, and I like to do tinkering projects, repair things. Not mechanically. I'm not for whatever reason I'm not mechanically inclined. But remodeling projects. I've got some electrical projects that I'm going to do, and I don't mind. I kind of enjoy those kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just it's those kinds of things are therapeutic to me.
Yeah, definitely. You got to find your own thing that's yours. Because you can work and you can work and you can work. I've been a paramedic for almost 30 years, and I know people who, and I've done it myself, who live the job. I mean, the people who don't wear anything but EMS, different EMS T-shirts, and in normal conversations use 10 codes. Like instead of saying yes, ask 10-4, and I've been there, and I understand. And you got to learn to have your own things, and it sounds like you got a pretty good little set of them.
Yeah, it's I have a diverse life, and then I do a little bit of traveling here and there. So that makes life a lot easier.
Oh yeah. Well, I got an outdoors question for you.
Yes, sir.
Remember when I said that the conversation just kind of steers itself? Have you ever just let go of the wheel and it just like snatched to the left? Yeah, we're fixing to let go of the wheel a little bit about outdoors.
Okay.
And all your time out, snow skiing, camping, anything like that, where you've been out just in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot. Have you heard anything? Have you seen anything? Do you believe?
Not about Bigfoot, no. But I was asked the question if I believed in UFOs.
Oh yeah.
Not too long ago, and my answer to that is yes. Sailing with my dad many years ago, and we were out with some of his friends, and we spotted 3 lights in the sky off in the distance, and there was no other explanation. You pull the binoculars out, and all you could see was the lights a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. And how they moved and how they disappeared, and they were moving in right angles. When they changed direction, it would generally be a right angle. So it couldn't be an airplane, and it was just a really weird experience. And we watched them for maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and they disappeared. So that would be my strangest experience outdoors.
Okay, well, I definitely believe in UFOs. My ego's not big enough to think that we're the only thing out there, and we're definitely not the smartest. Yeah, I believe in Bigfoot. Now, I do.
Do you?
I do. Never seen one. But I just like to think we haven't found everything yet. You know.
Oh, they every so often you'll hear scientists or explorers finding something new, a new species of fish or animal or
Mm.
something they thought was extinct, and yeah, so there's just lots of stuff out there yet to explore.
Oh yeah. Now I tell you, I saw a movie the other day that was pretty good. Horror movies don't normally bother me, and it wasn't really a horror movie. That's just kind of the genre I'm putting it in. But it was called "There's Something in the Woods."
Uh huh.
It was pretty good Bigfoot movie. But Bobcat Goldthwait, remember him from the '80s?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He directs.
I
He
didn't know that.
oh man, he's not the guy anymore. He got rid of that character. He directs films. He's pretty freaking awesome now.
Yeah.
And he did one called Willow Creek, and it was kind of a found footage thing along the lines of Blair Witch,
Uh
but
huh.
it's about a couple that goes to Bluff Creek, California, to where the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot footage was filmed back in the '60s. And man, it was such a good movie. It's on Amazon Prime right now, but you ought to check it out. It's a really good movie. I was impressed by it, and you never see Bigfoot in it one time, but
Huh.
it will have you jumping out of your seat.
Yeah, I'm not one of those kind of guys. I'm not. Horror movies or scary movies are not my thing, not my genre. So I think I'll pass.
Oh, but yeah, but it was pretty good. But I'm just I love doing movies. I love anything that just kind of challenges my mind, or I either want something to really challenge it, or just let it vegetate for a while. Either one. And
There you go.
yeah, definitely. But man, I've had a ball talking to you. Is there? I know you got a website.
Uh huh.
What is your website?
It's ricksoetebier.com,
Okay.
and it's spelled RICK, S like Sam, OETEBIER.com.
All right. And I'm gonna put that in the show notes too.
Okay,
But yeah.
sounds good. Yeah.
But yeah.
And when you go to my website, you can check out my book, Dating Backward, and it's just a lot of common sense tips and insights on dating and making better decisions as you go forward. And it's also it's in the resource section on my website. But you can also get it on Amazon as a paperback or their Kindle e-reader. So that makes it a little bit. Some people like the e-readers.
Mm-hmm.
Then also, if you go to my website, your listeners can pick up a free download, a free PDF called "The 5 Biggest Dating and Relationship Mistakes and How to Avoid Them." And you just click on the button, say yes, I want it, and put in your name and email, and it'll be in your inbox in about 10 seconds, something
Sweet.
like that. Yeah. So that's a freebie for your listeners. So
Outstanding.
yeah. And then you can find me on Facebook. Just go to @Rick Soetebier Coach, and if you like my page, if you click the like button, you can see my daily tips, insights, and inspirations in your news feed. And you can also see my blogs. I write a weekly blog, and that's both in written form, and I video record it so that if you just want to watch a video or listen to the audio, while you do something else, you can do that. So, and again, that's available on my website, and it's also on my YouTube channel. So, or the video portion is on my YouTube channel. So, your fans can reach out, and if you have questions, if you have a question, I do a 30-minute free consultation. You can just request that send your request to rick@ricksoetebier.com. That's my email address.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's I'll be happy to answer anybody's questions and see how I can help.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah, I mean, you definitely got. If somebody can't get a hold of you, they're not trying.
That's right.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, all right, man. Well, I've had a great time recording with you this morning.
It's my
And,
pleasure.
you know you're welcome back on here anytime.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
Me and you both.